What's up, everyone? Blake Sloan here with Mr. Alex Prout. Got a awesome brand new Agent Success Podcast edition with you. There are a new one out here, the last name group out there, but don't be fooled, right? The original on here. So the reality is we're going to talk about something that I think is super important that him and I were talking about, and something in my business, the past 13 years of doing this, I've noticed is the number one success killer for agents in the real estate business, right? And you and I talked about it. We know you totally agree on this. The number one success killer for anyone in real estate that I've found is one word. You know that word. What's that word?
Freedom.
Freedom, right? Freedom is the killer of success for most people. And so I notice this as we bring in newer agents. I knew this as we bring people who have already been in the business. I knew this kind of being it because what happens is in our time, in our current economy or whatever of jobs, everyone has structure. The minute they get into real estate, they have no structure. What do? They tend to disappear and just come in, get bored, not have anything to do, and they just leave.
Right. And
they go do something else. And so it comes down to ultimately the freedom is the killer. And I've really tracked this, and I was talking about this with our team a while back. I did experiment. I watched people who were agents, and I watched people who were employees. And I watch the constant crisis that happens in agents' lives. There's always something going on. Always got to go to the vet. Always got to go to this doctor appointment at 11 o'clock or whatever it is. There's constantly things that are coming up that are pulling them away from the actual productivity as an agent, especially in today's competitive marketplace, right? And so we talked about, this is a quick one today, but the reality is there's a connection. There's an employee mindset versus an agent mindset. And I really kind of broke it down. The key success indicator there is if you can have an employee mindset as an agent, right? And talked about what your thoughts and kind of what we talked about as a team there.
We see it repeatedly, and we also see a lot of our largest levels of success from folks who were not agents to begin with, folks who came from outside the industry who still have carried over their employee habits into agent habits. So it's not magic, it's not rocket science, it's just how you behave is how you get your success.
Yeah, this is some stupid simple stuff here, but I want you to ask yourself, in most cases, if your results are not where you want right now, are you falling victim to your own freedom, right? Because have you been checking out early, leaving early, getting off task, on social media, all these things that tend to kill your success and ultimately kill your productivity, right? The number one weapon that anyone has in today's time is focused. And so we notice this as, some agents that have been in the business, for a while. The places came on, hey, look, this is what you do, this, and this, and this. You come in at 2 o'clock, gone. Like, whoa, what happened, man? And so, what happens is once you get to a place of space, right, have space between what I should be doing, I'm not really sure, I don't have the results yet, and so what happens tends to people just scramble, or they get into a reactionary mode. That's the other thing that's really a big killer is reactionary mode mindset. And so what we talk about that, and what fixes that is something that we call an ideal weekly schedule, right? In the perfect world, what does your schedule look like? Time block, perfect to the minute. And so that's kind of what I've been able to find as a secret weapon over time to be able to help combat against that, where once my calendar is filled, I'm in attack mode. Boom, like today, right? There's a schedule at a specific time. Come in, I have another 1:30, I have a 2:30, I have 4 o'clock. And so you're back to back in regards to what you do, but you got to have the ideal weekly schedule there for things like prospecting, follow-up leads, to have the same time, same place, everyday activities in there. And what's your thoughts on what have you kind of seen experience-wise in that?
It transforms literally everybody's business the minute they set it up and start following it. And it's not to say that real estate isn't unpredictable. Sometimes things are going to pop up. That's when you shift those activities. Still make sure they get done in the day, but try your best to control your overall frame of your week.
And I know a lot of you out there thinking right now, like, oh, man, that's why I got into real estate. I don't want to have a schedule or a certain calendar. And here's the deal. I don't like having a specific calendar either, or I did not like having that either, but I like success a whole lot more, right? And I have not been able to find a way to duplicate the level of success in sales, in real estate, in any business without having that process, and I call it the mindset of same time, same place, every day. You've heard me mention this on previous podcast versions. The same time, same place, every day mindset is kind of what has to happen to get there. And kind of share an example I pulled up so you can kind of see what it looks like. ultimately you kind of see here where same time, same place type thing, where you have an ideal weekly schedule means in a perfect world, this is what my schedule would look like. To the minute, to the hour, we call them time blocks. So, for example, this time of the day, this is what I do here during this time, right? This type of the day is what I do in other times. And so ultimately, the goal there is to see how can I make sure that I'm hitting my same thing. And we'll talk about this. Why is it important to do the same things every day? We talked about this before, but...
Well, because that's how you stack up your wins. That's how you, if you have repeatable, predictable behavior, you can have repeatable, predictable success. It's very simple.
And the one thing that I noticed for me, in the beginning is I didn't like calling leads necessarily. I mean, I was kind of scared, some people are. And so the reality is once you're able to kind of get into it, I have momentum from yesterday. So I know Monday I made my follow-up calls from X time to X time. Let's say, for example, 8:30 to 11:30, whatever. Right? I make that call at that time. I do it on Tuesday. I'll do it on Wednesday. Wednesday, I really don't feel like it. But guess what? I have the momentum and the pattern that's built into my subconscious that allows me to go ahead and will my way through that. And so if you see something like I mentioned in the previous podcast, I go to the gym every day, same time. I watch hundreds and hundreds of people come and go from that place. I go to ISI. The people that don't make it, guess what they do? They come at sporadic times. So Monday they may come at 6 a.m. Tuesday may come at 5 p.m. And what happens is over time, I'm always just kind of a nerd for this stuff, watching patterns. The ones that make it the longest do the same time, same place every day because you're in that groove, right? You're in that aspect of success where you can do that even when you don't want to. And so it's got to the point when you do it so much, like if I don't feel like going to the gym, I go anyways because I don't want to deal with the feeling or the guilt of not doing what I know I'll always do anyways, right? And so now the pain of disconnect of not doing it is now more than the pain of actually doing it. And so that's where the underlying power comes in that regard. The second thing you talked about, which is very important, is stacking up your daily wins. You have to have a clear plan, a clear win. Part of what we do in our culture here, a daily win, right? And I'm sure there's one company out there that'll probably copy this one too. But the reality is a daily win. And so the daily win we have is you get together as a group, a morning huddle, and we identify your specific win for that day. Why? Because it helps you hold yourself accountable. The only thing worse than not winning is winning and not knowing that you won, right? And so you got to make sure you have that daily win. But how you do that is stacking up the cards, so to speak, against the freedom. You have to fill the space of freedom to have success. I'll say it again, you have to fill the space of freedom to get massive success in this business. And so that's something that's super important to do there. And the one thing kind of helps tie that together, I think, is accountability, right? Rather it be group accountability or one-on-one accountability with your coach, your broker, your leader, whoever that may be. Because you have to be able to tie that one measure is what I'm doing working. Because we've done that. We help people get their ideal weekly schedule in place, and then ultimately what happens? Chaos happens, life happens, and then shoom, they're off. And it takes somebody looking from the outside and saying, look, man, that's probably not that big of a deal. You could probably make sure you schedule your haircut until after your productive time. But the reality is when people have the freedom, they tend to just react. Your haircut person says, well, I can only do 11 or 1. And you just say, well, I'll take the 1 o'clock, even though you could be showing property at that time to people in that place. And so last thoughts here, it's a quick one, but what are your thoughts on that overall?
The daily wins, it's also a great way to keep your mindset on track. It's a great way to retarget your day if you start to lose focus, if something goes sideways, if something gets off track, if you get pulled in 10 directions, you can always go back to that one daily win and refocus your day. And if you can do that on a daily basis, you become more laser focused just as a practice. And laser focused people consistently win. And
that made me think of another super, super powerful success tool, success mentality tool is batching, right? You have to batch tasks to get maximum productivity. I was always falling guilty to my email, right? You may be like ones there that you're constantly your email. So I was never in proactive. We talk about there's proactive and reactive. The money in this business is all made in proactive. That would be following leads, showing property, calling your clients, whatever it is to make sure that you're proactive in that versus putting out fires, dealing with issues. In today's time with email, one of the biggest killers of productivity is email reactionary coming in. So what we do is batch them. And so like part of what an example, of our ideal schedule, gym, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right? Get dressed, breakfast, all that stuff, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. So 8 a.m., new business only. We dial, follow up with leads, right? It's new business only. So if it's not new business, We don't do it. And so, like, you got somebody that emails you about, especially if you're a single agent, right, or on a team in that regard, you got to be able to control your calendar. And nothing, I always say, there's nothing that can't really wait until 11 o'clock in most cases. Why? Because if you start reading emails, you deal with problems, you get triggered, then all of a sudden my momentum is killed. I read the email. We've all done it. I do it. I shouldn't check the email, but I do. I'm like, oh, crap. And then now my mind is gone here off of where I need to be focusing on. Now I'm triggered. I'm pissed off. And I'm not able to stay productive like I should be. And so, for example, here, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., all straight focus on new dials, new business. I'm constantly seeking out 5 new people. It could be 8:30 to, whatever, 11:30 in that regard. 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. is return calls and emails. So I'm batching all those tasks together. Now I can take what I spread out over 6 hours, do it within 1 hour. And I used to think this was kind of crazy, and so I got very, very good at it. I can probably get 300 or 400 emails a day. I'm able to batch those out in a few different times to make sure that I'm not sitting in front of that in reactionary mode. Now here's the thing. If I don't have this planned out in my calendar to do something specific, guess what I'm going to be doing? Sitting in front of my computer checking emails, right? And so I want to make sure I'm proactive in that. Second thing, right? Lunch, same time, same place every day. I'm always to the minute doing the same exact things because it's just natural. Like, I don't even got to look at the clock a lot of times. I can feel the time frame. And so next one, lunch, 12 to 1. 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, appointments and showings. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, appointments and showings, right? 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, return calls and emails. The same thing. I'm batching the second batch of that stuff in there, which is good. 4 to 5, appointments and showings. Now, if you don't have enough new business to be able to do that many showings, appointments, whatever, guess what I'm focusing on? New business, right? Going back to new business. 5 to 6, new business. 6 to 7, I'm home, dinner. 7 to 8, time with family, right? 8 to 9, if you need to, return emails, or obviously I like to study and read new stuff. But the reality is, and then obviously you have different things, like so one day a week, there's a day to catch up on all the files. So Wednesdays, a certain time, right? For example, in this situation, we have between 2 and 3 is my file catch-up day. Put it in there because, well, we know it's like with our CRM, data matters. Your intelligence of your clients matters. So make sure you're time blocking that to make it happen. It's not going to happen if it's not scheduled, period. In today's time, with so many distractions, so much noise out there, you've got to focus on the signal, and the signal is what gets you paid, right? And so that's something that's super important there as well. Anything else you can think of from that aspect?
I think that's about it.
Every single day, plan, but just ask yourself, in the freedom in my business right now killing me? If you need some guidance on this, we have this figured out to a science, a very, very high level. So if you need help, reach out. Again, it's free, no obligation, anything. We're just here to help serve. Reply to the email. There's a link here to click to be able to schedule one-on-one. You can always check out more videos too on sloantraining.com, and we'll see you in the next video.